Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Digimon Adventure Try. So it's a series of 6 movies that are essentially just one long storyline. So I'm just reviewing it all right now. So essentially, it's sort of a like an alternate universe telling of the original Digidestin kids and and how they got their Digimon and all that jazz. It's difficult because I think that more Digimon is always good Digimon, I think, because Digimon is one of those underappreciated ones that needs more merch, needs more, TV shows, movies, whatever. There needs to be more Digimon. And this is more Digimon. But it's frustrating because not all the voice actors were used. So not all the same voice actors, but and there was similar enough, they're reusing the Digidestin. This isn't just a new telling with different kids, it's the same kids in theory, and they don't use the same voice actors, and then they kind of move around some things to get things going. I don't know, it's difficult because on the one hand you're like, okay, so this is movies, and so you need to have faster pace with movies because you need to get to the things and do the things, and so you got to cut a lot of things that season 1 of Digimon had 54 or 56 episodes, something like that, and so they had a lot more time to play around with. But at the same time, there was a lot of okay, this is the episode where this kid has his Digimon Transformer champion, then this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then once they have that, then okay, now there's the episode where he gets his crest, and then where she gets her crest, and yada yada yada. So there was a lot of individual moment things that you could realistically compress in these movies. And so they did some of that, but at the same time, these movies just felt so slow. Just so slow. It's in the, I'm going to call it 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever, animation to save a bunch of money, they'd have this beautiful scene of fucking whatever, and then the camera would just slowly pan across it. And maybe there'd be dialogue going, maybe there wouldn't be, maybe it would just be, cicadas or fucking whatever. And nothing would be happening. But they just spent so much money to draw this beautiful scene that they're going to take up a lot of screen time and maybe some dialogue time while panning over it. There was a lot of that in this movie. And then just the long pauses. I felt like I could have watched this movie at 1.5 speed and it would have been a much cleaner, more engaging story. There was so much space in the dialogue and in between things happening. So much space. I get that, I appreciate that they had money invested in the backgrounds of the scenery and the animation, but it seems like 90% of that money went towards the action scenes, and then they really had to skip. They're okay, well, we have this new animation style, this new stylisticness to this, but that's really expensive over here, so we're going to have it, but on static images or panning images, or just not much is happening, or we're going to reuse this, a bunch of stuff. It was very disappointing that way. The other thing is that again, you have this 6 movie thing, and they bring out Omnimon right off the bat, but then don't bring Omnimon back for a lot of it, and it's just I don't understand how you can justify having him in the first episode or 2, or first movie or so, and then come up with excuses to not have him for most of the rest of it. It's difficult to make sense of that. I would say the main reason to watch this is if you're just looking for some beautiful action animation. B, you just can't get enough Digimon, and you're willing to deal with the weirdness of the different voices and the what if storytelling of if this had been there. We're trying to I kept hoping that this would be the thing that explained that one-off sentence. I think at the end of season 2 or beginning of season 2 of Digimon, where they're oh yeah, well, we can't transform, our Digimon can't transform into Ultimate because we use the crest to seal away this thing and blah blah blah. I kept hoping that they would explain that one throwaway sentence to explain why the season 1 Digidestin never went above champion, other than it would really ruin the storyline for season 2 ones that armored Digivolutions weren't even as strong as champion, so trying to get Ultimate on there would just have complicated it, so they were here, throwaway lines. But I kept hoping that this movie would explain that. Not really. Not really. You kept hoping it, but then not quite. It is basically separate universes, tellings, as if one hadn't happened. Sort of imagine The Transporter. I think that was one of the ones where they were inspired by but went different directions. Anyhow, you get the idea. When there's reboots and things and they just sort of align, sort of don't. The other reason to watch this, and it is a good reason, it's one of the reasons that I stuck through it to the end, is because basically, and I guess minor spoilers, but every Digidestin's Digimon gets up to Mega. And that was something that I always thought was very much missing in the season 1 Digimon show, is that Matt and Tai were the only ones, so Greymon and Garurumon were the only ones that ever got up to Mega of the Digidestin. And I always thought, especially with, the Dark Masters and everything else, like, there was room for the other Digidestin to go up to Mega, and they never did. And in this one, every single one of them goes up to Mega, and you get to see them quite a bit. They still don't do Garurumon justice. Needs to have more Garurumon. Like, they seem to cut around him as much as possible, even in the like transformation sequence or Digivolution sequence. It was just like, whoever made this has a grudge against Garurumon. Just saying. But in general, it was really nice to see the Mega forms of the Digidestin's Digimon in this and see them actually kick ass, and you get to see them more than once and get to see them involved. Like, it is a good use of the Mega. So if you were just wanting to see Mega evolutions of your favorite Digidestin who never got their due, this will satisfy that. And I personally think that alone is enough to watch this movie, or at least slog through the slowness of so much of the rest of it. But that's it. If you don't care about the Mega evolutions, then just stick with the original Digimon show. So, yeah. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye!